Winter ended like 2 or 3 days ago, but we have one more episode in the Winter in Review arc, and that's just talking about more Switch games that I've gotten. So, none of these things are things that I have bought during the winter. This is all like pre-order stuff that I've had over the past couple months or even years in one of these cases. And so we're just going to go through them and talk about them. But I also want to give a disclaimer that I actually started selling some Switch games. Life happens sometimes. I'll leave it at that. But when I say I've sold some Switch games, out of the 443 games I had at my peak, I've sold 35, less than 10%. So this is kind of replenishing, but it's fine. Taking care of some life stuff, selling some Switch games, but also I'll probably continue to use it as capital for the Switch too. Since we're not that far away from a direct. So, we sold 35 games. I don't think we have 35 games in this episode, but, we'll see if we ever get up to like 500 Switch games. I kind of hope not. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first box we're going to go through is a limited run box. We've talked about limited run a couple times, and limited run does these as it sounds. Limited release games, and, they have some of their detractors, maybe like long shipping times and stuff, but for the most part, the wait times are usually worth it. I usually don't buy any of like the crazy collector's editions that usually take a long time because they have to produce all the other stuff, but this specific package was a limited run vault shipment. I think that's it. Yeah, limited run vault shipment where they kind of go through their stock and they say, we can sell some of this after the fact. So, maybe it kind of defeats the point of having a limited release, but nonetheless, still pretty cool. And these were some games I picked up for like super, super cheap from their website. Like some of these games were like $15 when they're normally $30 or $35. So let's go through the one PS4 game. Let's get the single PS4 game in this entire video out of the way, and that is Roombo First Blood. So it's a PS4 game. I know it says Switch Christmas Special, second epilogue, something baloney. But one of the games they had on sale was it's a Roomba game, like the Roomba that like cleans your floor. It's a Roomba game, which is like really freaking funny, and I could not pass this up. This is a really thick release. Is that a big manual in there? That's cool. Games don't really have manuals anymore, so it's cool to have a PS4 game that has a manual. I thought that was so funny. Next up, I have these upside down, so I don't actually know what game is coming next. This is Gunbrick Reloaded, and the reason I bought this one, aside from the fact it being cheap, right? I had like 15 games in my cart, and I was like, okay, that's too much. I don't need that much. But I kept this one in my cart because it is developed by Nitrome. And if that name sounds kind of familiar, anybody who is maybe around my age or a little bit younger, and definitely people a little bit older, you probably remember a website called Miniclip. And I remember playing all sorts of Flash games on Miniclip, including tons of Nitrome games. I can't think of them. The only Miniclip game that really comes to mind is Going Commando 2 and Raft Wars. And I loved Raft Wars. But Nitrome had a bunch of their games on Miniclip, so I tried some of them. And this game is developed by Nitrome, and it has the same font, same looking characters, same graphics on the back. And I was like, this is a cool piece to get. I didn't even know that Nitrome had this, but I will definitely look into seeing if they have any more physical releases, because this is really cool. It's been a long time since I've been on Miniclip, but I would love to go back and like see some of those games again. Next one is 2D and Top D. I think this is a game that I might have had, like I was getting ready to order it at pre-order, and I think I just kind of like decided I don't really need that, and I took it out of my cart at the time, and then I saw it in the vault, and I was like, all right, well, it's like half of what it was before. Like 2D and Top D are supposed to be references to like gaming perspectives, like 2D, right, two-dimensional, and Top D as in like from the top. So the game literally says change your perspective. From 2D to top-down, this unique platformer puzzler mashup challenges you to think in creative new ways. So, kind of cool, kind of cute, kind of funny looking, and so now we have this. Next up is Mythic Ocean, which just sort of continues the, lots of ocean games on Nintendo systems, including the Nintendo Switch. I think, what was it, Endless Ocean Luminous or something like that was just released on Switch not that long ago. It's probably a couple months ago at this point, but not that long ago. And I don't know, ocean games are kind of fascinating, like Subnautica, Abzu. Not that I've ever played a single one, but like, I don't know, the deep depths are kind of scary. Have you ever thought about like swimming deep in the ocean? That's horrifying. It's an abyss. But of course I bought it as a Switch game. Next up is a Buddy Simulator 1984, which just has this really, really neat like cartoonish art style. Like, I don't want to say Cuphead necessarily, but you know, kind of like Cuphead, kind of like wow, I don't know the name of that game. I never played it, so that's fair. Like Sans is the character, I think, right? It kind of looks like that. That's what it reminds me of, but like Cuphead style, if you will. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like Buddy Simulator 1984 is a great name. The back looks freaking awesome, and I actually saw this in a store for full price, above full price, not that long ago, and then it popped up in the vault, and I was like, oh, I can get it for a fraction of that cost, and so I did. Next up is Guts and Goals, and I had never seen this game before. I don't think it's necessarily a limited run numbered release. It was just a game that they distributed, but this game is a hockey game, and I think it's also like a baseball and hockey mashup with like tons of ridiculous stuff. Wait, that results in a hilarious way to play soccer. Is soccer? Oh, maybe it's a baseball and soccer. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, Guts and Goals. Not that I really like soccer, but it's got baseball stuff. Back of the game says mixes arcade style soccer with beat 'em up gameplay. I don't know. It looked really cool. It was in the vault, and I was like, all right, why not? Let's do this. And the last one from Limited Run is I had never seen this one before, so I don't know how long ago this is. Number 151, but American Hero. Not going to give any commentary, but yeah, I thought that was a hilarious name for a game, and I think this was a game. It was a movie. I don't remember. I don't remember what I read, but some stuff on the back. But I don't know. The title American Hero I thought was just pretty random for a Switch game, and also just, you know, I think it's got like FMV. Maybe that's what I'm like thinking of. Is an outrageous and unforgettable FMV game that lets you play as Jack, the star in an over-the-top 1990s Hollywood action movie. I don't know. I bought a lot of them because they were cheap and they seemed interesting. So that was my limited run shipment. So the next one was a shipment I actually ordered over Black Friday. And I ordered it over Black Friday because I had never ordered from this place, but I decided to because there was one game I really wanted and a pre-order that I really wanted. We'll go over that pre-order in just a little bit. And then it took until now to get here because it had the pre-order, but it's a little confusing because the pre-order came separately. I don't know. Very strange, but the order came in. I'm pretty sure there's one other specific game in here that I was like actually looking for beyond the pre-order, so I'll point it out when we get to it. Is it in here? Yeah, it is in here. Cool. So we got some stickers. We got some. Oh, this is cool. We got some Play Asia stickers. Another, is that supposed to be a Miku sticker? I don't know. Some Joy-Con like stickers. That's cool. But let's get into the actual games, and I do see the game that I wanted in here. So the first one is Liberated. So Play Asia is a distributor for all region games. I think they even have some NTSC region games, which I don't really know how that's possible, but they do. But mostly I would buy here because of certain Japanese releases that did not come to North America. But also when I was on there for Black Friday looking to see if the one game was on sale, a bunch of other games were on sale for like $20-25. So I was like, oh, this looks cool. Let me buy it. I could not tell you anything about Liberated besides the fact it is scary looking. So that's Liberated. Next one is a game that I have heard of. I know it's a series of games, but I'm not super familiar with the series. First one is Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights, and I believe this is a Metroidvania? I thought it was a Metroidvania. It says RPG on the back, 2D RPG. I'm not 100% sure, but these games look really, really very, very pretty, very, very impressive, and yeah, I don't know. It was on sale. I recognize the name. So I bought it. So it's cool to get a Japanese release. I think both Liberated and Ender Lilies both have North American releases. So kind of like, why am I buying a Japanese version of a North American release? But I don't know. It's cool. Next one is I wanted to say it's pronounced Zikatrice. Xica Trice, and I can't tell you anything about this, but look how cool this is. It says RPG on the back. That's like probably most of these games. Well, the next game is definitely an RPG. I don't know. This looks super cool. Ender Lilies, I knew Liberated looked cool. I don't know. You guys know the problem at this point. Next one is a game that is definitely an RPG. I wonder why I say that. Super Mario RPG. Obviously, I think it was 2 years ago. The original Super Mario RPG on Super Nintendo was remade for the Switch. And they had this game retailed at, I want to say, $60. So to get it in Japanese for like $25, which probably has other language support, is a pretty good deal. I'm not 100% sure on that. Obviously, I opened the box right in front of you, but I also have its North American release, but I don't know. I couldn't pass it up for $25. So one more game before I get into the game that I actually wanted to order. So this is Dave the Diver Anniversary Edition, and kind of goes along with the underwater theme we had a little bit earlier. And Dave the Diver, I realized after I bought it, had a North American release, but this one says the Anniversary Edition. I don't actually know when the original game was released, but Dave the Diver is like underwater games, but like sort of cartoonish. So that's pretty cool, and I'm glad to have gotten this. It also came with this. I don't remember if I bought this, but apparently there was a special soundtrack that came with it. I do not recall knowing if there was a CD with it, but you know what? I'll take it anyway. So the game that I actually wanted to order, I wanted to see if it was on sale for Black Friday, was Power Pros 2024-2025. So if you're not familiar, Power Pros is a cartoonish baseball series that goes all the way back to the Super Nintendo. And if you saw the Everything Else episode last week, I bought 2 Dreamcast games that I thought were Power Pros games, and they were not. But this is the game I wanted. This game was supposed to be for the 2024 NPB season, and so I was like, oh, I really want to get that, but I didn't have a way of getting it. It was like $50-something on eBay, like, and then had to be shipped over here. But this one, I don't remember if it was on sale, but it was definitely cheaper than what I was going to get it for on eBay. So I was going to see if this was on sale. I don't think it was, but I bought it anyway. And then that's where like the other 4 games came from. Five games? Other 5 games came from. So that's pretty cool. And there was one more game in that order that was a pre-order that I have. It ships separately, so I will go over that last. You'll see why. But cool to order from PlayAsia for the first time. It took a little long to get here, I'm not going to lie. The pre-order was from February 27th. That is almost a month ago. So I'm not super happy about that, but you know what? At least I know for the future that if I'm going to order from there, that's what I should expect. Okay, so the next package is like Limited Run. However, this company is called Premium Edition, and their concept is similar to Limited Run, doing limited releases of games that are not getting physical releases otherwise. And I've talked to the guys at Premium Edition a couple times. They've been at conventions I've gone to. They've been at Too Many Games. They've been at Retro Game Con. So, I've had the opportunity to get to know them. Not get to know them like we're buddies, but I've talked to them and I've seen them in person, unlike Limited Run, who is mostly just, online storefront and, their store in, I think, like North Carolina or something like that. So this order was actually from almost 2 years ago. I placed it in May 2023, and I finally got it today, the day of recording. One of the games was very, very behind in its release. Premium Edition, their whole goal is to release games physically in a final state, so they don't want you to buy the game and then have to get an update anyway, which I really, really support. Limited Run also had a ton of complaints about long shipping times, and Premium Edition is still kind of in there of taking a really long time. I love their releases. I can't wait to show these off. But the one thing I will say is also they are really bad at updating their website. So, there's some things that say, estimated release holiday 2024. It is the end of quarter 1, 2025. So not a huge fan of that. I've kind of mentioned it in email to them, and every time I say, can you please update the release information, they don't. So, I support them. I recommend buying from them, but maybe if you see them at a convention when you can get the game in your hand, maybe probably a little bit better. But nonetheless, their releases are still super cool, and you should absolutely support them. They're doing things in their power, but I think the release status things they can do a little bit better of. Anyway, so first game is a game that came out a while ago under their line, and that is Wonderling DX, which I believe is just a platformer. The back says, Carrot Man is the beloved hero of the vegetable kingdom. And you need to destroy him. Okay, that's interesting. You're destroying the hero. I don't know. But that's kind of funny looking, right? We got a carrot guy right here. We got what is this guy? I don't, what vegetable is that? But there's a cow here. We love cows. I don't know. Wonderling DX. I bought it because it was premium edition. I'm getting better at not doing that for limited run, but Next one up is a interesting one. This is Wife Quest, which help Mia in this 2D retro platformer, a cute and charismatic former warrior who lives alongside Fernando, a mere farmer. Mia happens to be overjealous and quick to anger, but only if faced with anyone who happens to hit on her hubby. That makes a lot of sense. Wonderling DX has been out physically for a really long time. Wife Quest, I think, was released at some point last year. I mean, it definitely was released at some point last year. But the game that was the holdup is this guy right here. Super Dungeon Maker, which, as it sounds, I believe is a pixel art dungeon editor, which is a pretty cool concept. But this game is the one that took the longest to come, and finally why I got it 22 months after the fact. So, just to show you how high quality these releases are, they come with a ton of stuff, even in their basic editions. These are how thick 3 premium edition games are. Here's how thick 3 regular Switch releases are. 3 is barely the width of 2 of them. So, super high quality. Like I said, super recommend supporting them. Just, if they can do a little bit better of keeping people updated as to when things are coming, I think that would be fantastic. Okay, very last thing, two packages, but they are the same game, and we have actually talked about this game coming before. So if you watched Yu-Gi-Oh! In Review at any point, I mentioned that there is a new release or compilation release coming, and it finally came in February, on February 27th. So I got both the English release of Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection, which, just to talk a little bit more about it, it comes with all of these games in the back. I know you probably can't read them, but it is basically a collection of all the pre-GX ARC Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games. So everything from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters that was never released in North America, all the way up to World Championship 2005, Eternal Duel Soul, which I am a huge sucker for, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 6 Expert 2 on the Game Boy Advance, which is, I want to say, is the version of Eternal Duel Soul before Eternal Duel Soul, but for the first time, that build is coming to North America, and they translated it into English. So that is super duper neat. Really, really happy to come across this. And one of the 2 things I was looking for on Play Asia was the Japanese version of it. So let me show that off. That was the game that held up the entire order from shipping, but then it completely shipped on its own, which, I don't know, that's interesting. But last but not least for this episode is the Early Days Collection, but in Japanese. So, we're working on getting all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games in Japanese as well, and now we have both. They also, I believe, both come with I know the English release comes with a promo card, one of 2 versions of Harpy's Feather Duster, and I'm pretty sure the Japanese version does too. It doesn't mention it at the bottom, though. So I'm definitely going to crack these open and try and get both versions of those. I'll probably just go on TCG Player and buy them. But that's I say that's it like that wasn't a lot, but that was quite a bit. So we're replenishing some of those 35 games that we sold, but it's not too bad. So I think that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 Switch games. Replenished the games I've sold by half. So that's everything. Just to give an update as to what's going to come soon, I'm probably going to take a short little break from posting episodes. I have a ton of episodes that I want to make. I've talked in the past about how I really want to try and finish up the Nihon no Konyohen Shokai series, and I put together like 15 episodes and laid out the games and laid out some of the information. All I have to do is research for them. That's the longest part. That's the tedious part of like getting into these games, because one game could take me as long as like 20 minutes to research, just to give you something good enough, even if I don't like totally learn everything about it. So I'm probably going to take a couple weeks off. If I had to guess, early summer is when I start doing them, but I would rather do a short break now and come back and then have consistent uploads like we have had for the most part. So that's all I got. If there's anything I got wrong about these games, or if there's something I missed, please let me know. I would love to continue learning about these games as much as I have hopefully taught you something. So it's going to be a little while until I see you guys again, but thank you so much for watching, and bye!